Today, we are going to cover a lot of stuff, all the way from pneumonia vaccines to follow-ups from my home inspection to humidity and trash. Let's just go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I'm Rusty Nelson, and welcome to the YouTube channel here. A lot about the villages, but also about things that I've come in contact or approached during that retirement age, like from your late 50s on into who knows when, hopefully for forever, whatever that may be. Guys, you know the drill. Please, you've heard me say this over and over again. Go ahead and subscribe. Nothing horrible happens if you subscribe and you hit the all bell. Nothing will happen except that you get notified next time you turn on YouTube that I actually have put out a new video, and that's about it. So you don't get any texts from me. You don't get any emails from me. I don't sell anything, so go ahead and do it. Any pertinent information, I'll go ahead and put down in the description, text down below, along with links so that you can kind of peruse those type of things. Also, unless you're watching on a TV, you'll probably see links come above if it's something pertinent to that specific subject. And there's a bunch of stuff today, and it's all kind of come about because of some specific videos. Part of it is because of the inspections that I just did, my 1-year inspection. I'll put the link to that video down below, but reference some of that in this quick Q&A type thing. Also about, I got pneumonia just a little bit ago, so I'm gonna have some information in that. And as I always say, don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor. I'm just some knucklehead on YouTube. But the idea is to bring it to your attention, to think about it, so you don't get stuck like me and going, uh-oh, I got pneumonia down in the villages. I don't have a doctor, that type of thing. Let's just go ahead and jump into the first subject. Bam, here we go. All right, this one is kind of short and sweet, but it actually has to do with a lot of things that I'm doing right now, and I think some of you folks that are snowbirds might want to think about this. Okay, Joy wrote another great video. We noticed right away that you have a car in the garage, and where's your truck? So usually I drive an Avalanche. I love my Avalanche. Gloria, not so much. She doesn't like the Avalanche. She's got about 200,000 miles on it, but I love that truck going back and forth. Now, speaking of going back and forth from Pennsylvania to the villages, it got kind of hectic going back and forth, and I realized that, like on Frontier and Spirit, you can actually get some round-trip tickets really, really, really cheap. But to make it effective, you have to kind of get on board with basically nothing. You're hopping on there and getting on the plane with one tiny bag. Otherwise, things start to mount up. So what I started to do is develop, I'll say, a set of clothes and everything down in the villages, including an extra pair of pickleball shoes and a paddle and stuff, and another set up north. So I'm slowly figuring out what to travel with and what not to travel with. And for the time being, I'm renting a car when I go down to the villages, say just for 5-7 days or whatever. And I'm realizing it's becoming really efficient. What I didn't realize, and I didn't quite think about, was getting stuck at the airport or getting stuck on a delayed flight or something like that. So I actually didn't, on this last flight, I didn't bring a toothbrush or deodorant. You know, I travel with my medications, that kind of stuff. It's not much, but a little bit. And sure enough, for the first time in a long time, I got stuck at the airport. Not only stuck at the airport, but I got stuck there overnight, waking up the next day without deodorant, toothbrush, all that kind of stuff, which luckily they had there at the airport. So for the time being, the reason for not having my truck was this was actually a rental. I rented a small car, and this is what they gave me, a large SUV. And this was during, I guess Joy saw this in the home inspection video, which I just did, which I'm going to, this is a good lead in right now to that, and I'm going to talk about that. But anyway, that's the reason I'm slowly developing that quick escape down here and back, and eventually I'll probably have a second car down in the garage. On to the next question. This next group of questions or statements is going to deal directly with the video that I just did, which was what I call my 11-month inspection. Now, I had this done by Frank D'Angelo, his company, and his two sons, and I'll put the links to that down below. But these next few questions are going to kind of deal with that subject. Now, I'm going to read part of this, or actually, I'm just going to put a picture of what Frank wrote. Now, I want to thank Frank because after he did the inspection, he actually went back on to my YouTube site and answered a lot of questions that people had on there right after this was done. But what he noticed was that obviously he got a large influx of calls about scheduling this inspection because you have to do it kind of far out, or he's already all booked up. So people are doing it like 6, 7, 8 months out, or right after they buy the house, get it scheduled. In fact, he's already got stuff scheduled for next year. But I guess I'll put this down below. I'm not going to read it, but I guess what was happening is he was having a problem where Verizon wasn't getting all of his messages. So people were going, okay, well, you don't even answer your Verizon messages, because he had this big influx of people. So he basically wrote what's down below, that he contacted Verizon and they said that I guess they were trying to rectify the problem where he wasn't getting his messages. But you can also contact him through his website. And I talked to him and he says, I answer everything I get. So if you don't hear from him or something's happened like that, you leave a message on the phone, that could be it, that he didn't get the message. With that said, let's do a couple more questions or statements that deal directly with this. Now, here's the next one. Continuing on with the home inspection, I'm going to explain something to some people that maybe have moved in the first year, or are looking at buying a home, or have bought a home. This is really important. Now, here's the basic concept. Remember, and you guys have heard me say this, I don't work for the villages. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So don't listen to a darn thing I say. I'm just conveying to you some things that my brain's thinking of, and I am not a professional in any of these things. So do your own due diligence. There, that gets me out of a lot of stuff, I hope. The basic concept in buying a home in the villages is that they have a warranty department, and that warranty department takes care of warranty problems for the first year. Now, basically, don't hold this to my word, but this is kind of like a thing where in 1 year, anything that's wrong with the house, they're going to come in and take care of. My personal experience, they've been exceptionally responsive to everything that I've called about. They've been great to work with. Now, as far as this inspection that I just did, this is an 11-month inspection. So since you have 1 year to kind of discover all these things, myself and a lot of other people do not have a home inspector come in and do an inspection when they first purchase the house, but rather do that inspection, say 10, 11 months out, because now you've lived in the house. And that's basically what I had done. And I'll put those links up above to that last video. Rather than living outside the bubble where you go buy a house or a used home, you want to get that inspection, I believe, done right away, because you want those things taken care of, because there's not that kind of home warranty thing in most places. Now, there's also what's called a punch list. And this punch list deals basically with 7 days. I'm going to read right now what Frank wrote in. Thanks to Frank for actually going back into these videos and answering a lot of these questions. So if you want to have a lot of that stuff, look at the comments down below and look for Frank's name on there. And this is stuff that he has actually answered. He wrote, update. I was told today that the warranty department just made a slight change new folks will want to know about. Now, once you close the punch list, which is this 7-day list, they want that they want from you, you must be submitted in the first 7 days. It's no longer 30 days. I guess there were points where it was 30 days or so. The only exception is if you close remotely. In other words, a lot of people purchase the home, can't make it down here for the actual closing, and they need some time to go ahead and complete this. Now, the idea is that you're in the house and you see these dings, dents, and everything else. That's what they want to see, a lot of those things. Also, if you decide to use a home inspector for this punch list, because a lot of the home inspectors submit this list that they have directly, along with Frank, into the warranty department. They have this relationship with the warranty department, that this inspection list, this punch list, counts as your final 7-day punch list. So if you have a home inspector come in and he misses that big scratch along the top of your countertop, then you can't, 40 days later come in and say, hey, there's a big scratch on my countertop. So just be advised of that. And once again, thanks for Frank jumping in and answering a lot of these questions. So that's it. Just to recap that, 7 days, you have a punch list to go in there and see all these small things, because you're going to go home, you're going to go in with a builder right away. And that's just a quick walkthrough with the builder. They have a canned list that they show you where things are, valves, switches, turnoffs, all that kind of stuff. And then basically they leave, hand you the keys, and you're there, and you're going to look for 7 days. So make sure you document anything. And then after 1 year, then your 1 year warranty is up. So I think I kind of covered that. Let's jump into the next kind of inspection type question or subject. Now, this next question is going to cover kind of like a bunch of little different areas, but NF wrote, "Hi, Rusty, wonderful video. I took notes as I watched with my husband. We're wondering, what is overspray regarding the electrical panel? Your home's lovely. I always thanks you for giving your time and stuff like that. Trust me, my pleasure. I have fun doing this. And that's originally how the whole channel got started, was just to kind of convey things that I went through, because I know how confusing it can be. So make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to jump over to pneumonia and Social Security here in a second. But regarding this, so they are, or at least Frank was, he's pretty thorough. And I got a bunch of questions on how thorough. Can I look at the whole report? I'm not going to put the whole report up there because I'm not going to, but I'll give you an idea. And people also asked, why have a home inspection I can walk through? Well, here's one thing. Take a look at this, and I'll put this. This is just a small cut of part of the inspection, and this was pulling off the cover on the electrical panel and checking that, make sure that things are to code in there. I personally would have absolutely no idea what's to code and what wouldn't be to code, and I definitely wouldn't have caught this problem. So this is, if you look at the comments, this is actually right out of the report. Main panel, significant paint or drywall finish material overspray found inside the electrical panel. And then he also goes, and if you watch the video, you can actually see his son going into the video panel in the background. Internal parts, equipment, including bus bars, wiring, blah, 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 plaster. And he says, note that application of cleaners or abrasive is not permitted. This essentially means that per NEC, which is the code for electrical, overspray panel interiors must be replaced. So I would have no idea. And here's a picture, a little bit larger picture of the overspray and inside the panel. So I would have absolutely no idea about this. Now, the inspection was pretty thorough. And I also got questions, and I'll put this one up. I got questions like this from Teresa, and trust me, I understand. Curious how quickly the issues are resolved. Thanks. Well, I'll tell you what my experience is so far. And once I get this done and they come back in, I will do another video, say 6 months, 7 months down the road, on how they did. So make sure you subscribe for that. But let me tell you what my experience is so far with the warranty department. When you hand in that punch list, or you hand in a list or whatever, you better be ready for those people to come in to fix these items, because what they do is the warranty department, gets this list or gets items, and then they immediately contact the contractor that did that work for your specific home to come in and fix it. And this is, it seems like so far with me, a well-oiled machine. I mean, they are really quick. Now, I'll give you a for instance. I knew that I was going to be down there just for this home inspection, for which you watched this last video for. And then I knew I had to leave right away. Originally, my thought is to have Frank do the inspection and then come back. That's why I did it at 10 months, when I can come back after storm chasing and have things taken care of while I was there to make sure things got done. What happened is Frank submitted the report on, I think, like a Friday. And by Tuesday morning of the next week, which is a couple work days, there was already a bunch of contractors at my door. Unfortunately, I had already left town, so I couldn't do that. So we had to reschedule and reopen the ticket for all these items. So things seem to get done really fast, and I have no complaints so far. Like I said, I'm going to do a video on all of these things because there's a couple of major things like the electrical panel and some grading as far as I'm concerned, as far as water gathering around the house. The builder, Missy, I've said before, she was always great and showed up at my door like the next day. Hey, what's going on? You know, that type of thing. So I know they're really busy. I know things are cooking down there, but I'll give them an A for sure on what they've done so far. So Teresa, that's it. Now, on to the next question. We're going to change subjects. Okay, I lied. This isn't really off the subject. It's close to the subject, but something I kind of discovered, and I'll pass this along. This is going to be really quick. So in your heating and air, your HVAC system, when I started reading through the pamphlet, you know, it's kind of like reading directions for guys. But I was reading through there and I combined this, and I'll put this picture up here of what was in my inspection report. And what it kind of goes along with something that I discovered. There are certain temperature ranges where you want to be operating your HVAC system and not operating. So when it starts getting cold out, and I don't remember what the temperatures are, and they're probably different for all different type of HVAC systems. If it's really cold out, you don't want to be operating the air conditioner. If it's really hot out, you don't want to be operating the heater. So make sure that during that first year, you give a thorough test of the heater if you know your home inspection is going to be in the summer when it's hot, because the inspectors are not going to be able to run the heater because it's outside the operating limits. And also in the cold, if they come in and it's 40 degrees out, they're not going to run the air conditioner. So make sure you kind of look at that and document anything you see. Just a heads up. Now we'll get on to the next question, probably something about my pneumonia. This is the point where I say again, I am not a medical professional at all. I'm a YouTube guy. I say these things kind of spark your interest to do your own investigation, realizing that, especially now that I'm 65 this month, I am one of the older people. I don't feel like it, but I sure as heck am realizing that the government is telling me that I am one of these older people. If you've been watching my videos, go back a couple of videos and I'll put the link up there. I got pneumonia and it really knocked me for a loop. In the ER twice, in urgent care 3 times, and realizing that I need to get a primary care physician down near the villages or in the villages. With that said, I'm going to put up here what Sarah wrote. Now, I'm not 100% sure who Sarah is or what her background is, but Sarah wrote, everyone should get the pneumonia vaccine, especially older people. It's a lifesaver. Now, that's not the word of gospel, but I'm going to we'll look at the CDC website because there's a couple of things you need to know about this vaccine, at least from what I can discover from the website. In fact, let's just go and bring it up right now. There we go. This is actually the CDC website, and this is about the vaccine PPSV 23. Now, there are different vaccines. They each have a gobbledygook of letters and then a number afterwards. And that number basically represents how many different strains that vaccine will fight against. Now, something that I just learned that was kind of cool. If we look at this, the pneumonia disease refers to any illness caused by the pneumococcal bacteria, but it's also neat to realize that it can also deal with ear infections, sinus infections, meningitis, which is the brain and spinal cord, and bloodstream infections if it actually gets into your bloodstream itself. And their recommendation, if we drop down to 2, it talks about 23, and it protects against, like I said, 23 types of bacteria. It's recommended for all adults 65 and older. Anyone 2 years or older with certain medical conditions that can lead to an increased risk of pneumonia. And it said most people only need 1 dose of 23 and blah, 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 blah. You can read that yourself. But basically, when we get into that 65-year-old age range, and I also believe that Medicare and a lot of different insurances, Medicare when you're 65 older, Part B, will take care of the cost of that. Now, so where do you get this? Well, I'm starting to realize that my doctor just said basically you can go almost anywhere, but I wanted to alert you to the fact that, now this is CVS's website, and taking a look on there, they're basically mimicking what was said on the CDC website. And it says ages 65 and above. For those that have never received the pneumonia vaccine, 13 or 20, 1 dose of the 20 or the 23. And there's a bunch of caveats to that. You need to read that yourself. But basically, a lot of these websites will tell you, but I think it's kind of important for you to know, because as you turn that 65, and I'm going to wait till next month to get my vaccine, that I'll probably want to get that 23, but at least you can question and ask, hey, which vaccine are you giving me? So you can get these from almost, they seem like it's anywhere, Walgreens, CVS, the CVS mini thing, Costco, BJ's, Sam's, wherever. You just have to schedule those ahead of time. But it sure as heck seems like this is something that we want to get when we're older because it affects us. Now, I contacted my doctor, and for me personally, may not be the same for you. She said, yes, you need to go and get it. Also, I found out that if you got this is on a different note, kind of, the COVID vaccine, I am due for a booster. Totally blanked out, but when I was looking out my vaccines, big red thing flashed up and said, you are due for your booster. So you may want to think about that too. Once again, don't listen to me. Look up your own information for yourself. Thank you, Sarah, for writing that and sparking my interest in that. And you may want to seriously consider getting that vaccine. Let's go ahead to the next question. A lot of you folks write in suggestions and stuff like that. And here, Charlie Sparks writes in, I turned 69 this June. Well, happy birthday there, Charlie. And you and I guess we're both Geminis. I don't know whether the whole month of June is Gemini or not. And it says, in Florida, I always freeze my garbage and throw it in a container outside frozen because that way the bugs and raccoons don't go near it. So for you folks that don't know it, really quick, I kind of do the same thing. Like, if I have beef ribs on the couple nights before, I'll go ahead and throw it in the freezer, and then I just throw it back out in the morning in the garbage when they come. So in the villages in my neighborhood in Peyton, they come twice a week. Once on Monday and once on Thursday. And a lot of people don't realize we don't have trash cans there. You just take the garbage bags and you put them out on right by the driveway. Now, so far over this last year, they seem to come in exactly the same times every day. So I don't even put it out early because I know they come Monday and Thursday afternoon, and you just place your bags out there. In our neighborhood, twice a week, in the bags, no garbage cans. If you put anything else out there, they're going to take it and throw it in the trash. You can also come for large things every so often. If somebody knows in the comments how that works, if you have large things like couches or whatever, I know there's a way that you can get rid of them or dispose them. Put it down in the comments, help some people out, because I'd sure like to know. On to the next one. Here we go. Now, this got a bunch of different answers, so I'll talk about some of my feelings about this. And if you have any people who live here, if you have any other comments, go ahead and write them down below in the comments about this. But Debbie Deer writes, she's coming out for her first lifestyle visit in June. Hi, Rusty. Watched one of your old videos recently where you showed a tour of your home as the 1 year update. In it, you mentioned you lived in Southern California. Now, I lived there for 18 years in Southern and about another 10 up in Northern, so close to 30 years in the wonderful state of California. And I did love the weather, actually. Since my husband and I are coming in mid-June, so that means you're probably here right now while I'm recording this in Southern California for a lifestyle visit. Congratulations. Hopefully you have fun. Could you tell me how difficult it was to adjust the humidity? Also, she mentions mosquitoes in there, humidity combo. Well, thanks for writing in, Debbie. And let me tell you something. Everybody's different. It doesn't one size fits all. I have absolutely no problem with the humidity. Do I wish it was like Southern California every day? Sure, I do. I loved it that right where I lived, right on the water in Marina Del Rey, there was hardly any humidity at all, except for when we had June gloom. Now, as far as the humidity goes in the home, I have my Ecobee. Let me see whether I can. There you go. My Ecobee, and I can actually control my air conditioning, my heating from there. And as you can see, it gives me a humidity readout, which right now while I'm away, it's 79 degrees in my house and the humidity is 59%, which is perfectly fine for me. And that's at 79 degrees. Now it gets even better when I run the humidity down, and this is middle end of June or so. So I don't have a problem with it. And let me tell you, you start to adjust yourself to doing things early in the morning. You'll see at 6, 7 in the morning, there's a lot of people out walking and running around doing those things. Do the inside stuff in the middle of the heat and then go out in the afternoon. So it's great. Regarding bugs, mosquitoes, and that type of thing, if you're purchasing a house that is backed up right to the swamp and everything, I can imagine that you probably have more of a problem with bugs. When I first moved into my house, man, there were spiders all over the place. But I was told by the builders and stuff like that after the first year, everybody starts knocking them down right around their house. And also, they spray a lot. You can hear them running through there and spraying for mosquitoes. So a lot of that is taken care of. And I have to be honest with you, I really haven't had a problem with bugs at all. Zero. Now, I've kept up with it. I spray, and I just don't have that type of problem. Mosquitoes, I live right behind a small pond, but I don't live right next to the kind of forest and kind of swampy type of watery land. So I don't know if that's a real problem. But in general, I probably get bitten more up here in Pennsylvania by mosquitoes and out in California than I did here down in the villages. So there's an answer for you. Bugs are at a minimum for me. I'd love to hear what other people say down in the comments about bugs, but I really haven't had a problem with them. I just kind of spray once in a while and that's it. So anyway, Debbie, I hope you're enjoying your lifestyle visit, and let me know later on exactly how that went for you. Bree writes, did you do a video on companies that check your house while you're away and what they actually do? Now, I did a video, I'll put the link up here and the link down below, on leaving your house and kind of some of the things that I went through when I leave the house. Now, I use the village's home property management, which is called Empty Nest. And this is the basic part of it. They do it right now. I call them up ahead of time. I tell them I'm leaving from such and such a date to such and such a date. They have a key, and I pretty much just leave the house. The blinds are open, the water is on, the ice maker's full, and they come in and done a great job every single time. They come in, they turn off the water. A lot of times they'll turn off the circuit breaker to my water heater. They will lock the garage a lot of times and reset the Ecobee, which I just talked about, which I basically just tell them to leave it alone. They close the blinds, lock the house up, make sure all the windows are locked, that type of thing. And then they'll come in and they'll kind of flush the toilet and stuff like that. And when you come back, you call them ahead of time, make sure you call them. They'll turn the water back on, turn the ice maker back on, reset the garage door openers, that type of thing. And they also like make sure the dishwasher's set and those types of things. But actually a really good service. I'm sure there are other companies, but this is just the one that I use. And I will put that link down below and up above also. On to the next question. This area gets pretty important. And Laura wrote, "Hi, Rusty. I haven't been a subscriber for quite some time. So thanks a lot, Laura. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up about reaching Medicare or researching Medicare options before turning 65. I still have 3 years to go before turning 65, but it sounds like it's something I need to start researching about a year before I turn 65. And definitely, there's absolutely no doubt about this. You also need to start researching Social Security because you actually apply through the Social Security website, and I'll bring this up in a second, for your Medicare Parts A and B. Now, I kind of learned the hard way, and I don't want to get into this too much because I'm going to be doing a whole video with a broker about Medicare and signing up for Medicare. But the first part of that is to get onto the Social Security website. Now I'm going to bring this up here. Hang on a second. There's up in the right-hand corner, there's sign in or sign up. You definitely want to do that. You can do this well before you're 65 or 62. And then the area you want to go into right here is My Social Security. Now, I'm not going to go into the site because I got to go through a whole bunch of stuff just to hide a bunch of my personal information. Let me tell you something that is pretty good with this website and why you may want to do that. The big thing is first of all, you want to get in and get set on the website, especially if you're approaching 65, and do this 4, 5, 6 months ahead of time. Get on the website, and you want to start doing, because you're going to go to a page that's in there and it's going to have all of your whole wages over your life. Now, you don't want to be doing this at the last second, and not that I'm dissing the government at all, but they base your Social Security amount on the wages that they have records of. So if you have wages in there and you look on there and it's not on there, you need to show them before they start figuring out your Social Security that you had different wage amounts. Also, if they go ahead and approve it and you have too much in there, like you have made $300 million one year, they're going to make you pay that back if they give it to you. So it's really important to go in ahead of time, at least take a look at that wage section and try to figure out whether those look like the correct wages for your personal life. And that's it. Now, also, if you're, say, approaching 65 like I did in June, and that is your 65 birth year is June, unless you're born on the first day of that year, it'll change. But that month is your birth month. You want to start 3 months before that, looking into Medicare, Social Security, that type of thing, and starting to apply for that, because you can put on there, when do I want to start? So if you want to start at 65 and you're 3 months before there, you can put on there, I want to start on the first day of June. I'm making something up. First day of June, I want to start parts A and B on the first month of June. And you can, I would even write down, there's a note section. I'd write it down in the notes so it's very clear as to when you want to start. Now, there are so many different variations. There is not one right answer for everybody. For myself, I started when I was 65 in June. I applied a month and a half before June. And on the first day of June, they still hadn't approved my Medicare Parts A and B or my Social Security. So what does that mean for me? And I'll give you a reason why you want to start this early. I had to keep my regular medical insurance into June because I hadn't received the quote okay from them yet. So that meant I kept it through June. Now, the 6th of June, 1 week into June, they send me the notification that they're going to approve it. Well, now I've already paid for my medical insurance for the month of June, so I'm stuck double paying for the month of June. Not a big deal, but now I'm set to go full Medicare parts A and B, and for me, my supplement and my drug supplement. And we'll cover a lot of that, why you want to do that in when I do this with the broker. So anyway, my suggestion to you is if you don't have an account or signed up on the Medicare, the Social Security site, go do that and make sure that all of your wages are in there. And that's all I'm going to pretty much jump in now with the Social Security thing. It's easy to do. They walk you through everything, but just make sure you research that ahead of time. Now, one last question and or statement, and here it goes. Last but not least, Jay wrote, I visited the villages in July of 2015. And let me tell you, a lot has changed since 2015. And drove through 3 different areas. My favorite was the one that seemed like a coastal beachy area. I remember sitting on the park bench, looking out at the water. Love the colors. Yeah, it's really nice. It's called Sumpter. And I'll show you, I did kind of a cinematic video, and that's all it was. I'll put the link up and above, but I'll go ahead and show you a clip here really quick. And that was just a short clip of it, but that is Sumpter. And yeah, really nice area. And you will hear, if you say Sumpter, you will be quickly notified that it has no P in there, even though it slips out on me sometime. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me and subscribing. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to go ahead and follow that little drone guy around and subscribe and hit the like button. Just that simple hitting the like button helps out a lot in getting these videos out. They take a while to make, and I would surely appreciate it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget to sign up or at least get onto the site for Social Security so you can start preparing for that. Really important. Talk to your doctor about getting your vaccines, and I will either see you back here on YouTube or I will see you down in the villages. Have a wonderful, let's see what's coming up, 4th of July. I'll see you later.